Hi, this is Dr. Pachenik. Today I want to talk about a very unusual topic called doctors of death. One of the reasons I'm bringing it up is because Dr. Tony Fauci, whom I've known and was number one at Cornell Med while I was 87th out of 88, but that's not the issue, and I found him to be a great instructor, he has changed over time. I think he's become very sociopathic. I think he's become a danger to himself and to our country. And what I call him is, I call him the Doctor of Death. That's not the first time he's been called the Doctor of Death. In 1990, Larry Kramer, the head of a gay rights movement, said to Tony, "You're incompetent, you're an idiot, you have over $380 million, and you're allowing hundreds of thousands of gays to die. And at someday you will pay the penalty." That was 1990s. Eventually, there was a vaccine that was found to help AIDS. It was not developed by DeVito at NIH. It was developed by the French. More importantly, we've had a history of doctors who go out of their way to become killers or doctors of death. In point of fact, in history, you look at Dr. Mengele, a famous German doctor trained in Frankfurt and Munich, had a PhD and MD, and did a lot of experiments in Auschwitz with young kids doing twin experiments, but at the same time killing and torturing thousands and thousands of Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Along with him was a doctor called Epstein, a Jewish doctor who was involved with pediatrics, and he helped in the experiments with twins. Along with that was Dr. Rudin, who was part of the SS and also helped with the anatomy. So what you had is an SS tribunal involving all the doctors who had been in wars of criminal wars where they killed innocent people. Mengele, Epstein, and Rudin never was held accountable. They left Germany and they went on to their lives and became quite prominent. In fact, Mengele, who should have been killed, died normally in 1979. But let me talk about other doctors whom I've known who are doctors of death. One is Bashar Assad, who is a physician. He was an ophthalmologist trained in England, became head of Syria, and has been known to kill Muslims, Christians, Druids, and others. He makes no apology for it. There's another doctor called Karadzic, who was a psychiatrist and wrote poems. He came out of Serbia in the 1990s. I remember very well. They had killed thousands of Bosnians, Catholic Croatians, and had no remorse for it. He said this was part of the war that was going on. We in turn arrested him, accused him for crimes against humanity, and what did we do? We did the same thing with Karadzic that we did with Mengele and others who were committing crimes. We allowed him to go away free and live in another country. So what is the issue that's coming up so strongly? The notion that doctors of death can exist has been around a long time, but we don't teach it in med school. Cornell would never say that they produced one doctor of death and two more doctors of death. If you look at Dead Ringer, the Nachman twins, they created a lot of chaos and killed women in their exams, and that Jeremy Iron plays the role in Dead Ringer. There is two reasons that we have a prominent position in death. We are king of the mountain. We feel we can do no wrong. And at the same time, while we feel we're healing people, we think that we're experimenting with them. Dr. Bashar Assad is a Syrian who understood very well that he had to calculate the number of deaths he was doing so he would not be called a criminal, a doctor of death. But another doctor called Habash, who was the head of a PFLP, he didn't care. He was a physician who said, look, I can use terrorism. It's easy for me to create chaos and terror, and I will kill at will as long as Israel does not recognize the Palestinians. So in the guise of being physicians, we doctors who proclaim ourselves to do no harm, that we follow the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm, are complete liars. In fact, what we do is a lot of harm, but we're never held accountable. George Santayana said, if you don't know your history of doctors of death, you will be repeating it again and again. Thank you and good night.